Hi, Buki. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's very lovely to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name's Bukola Obadun-Craigs. Everybody calls me Bookie. I am a solicitor and partner for a law firm, and I specialise in residential property litigation. My clients are predominantly registered providers of social housing, and I am also a trainee board member with LHP.
It's great to hear that. So, what were your expectations when you went into the program? Have they been met or have they changed at all since you got started?
So my expectations were to sort of really understand governance, because governance is a word we all bat around, but it's actually really quite complex and it's quite intricate. So I really want to understand governance, and I really wanted to understand what each part of the executive members did in order to pull all those facets of running or managing a housing association. So those were sort of my expectations. So the expectations have definitely been met. I think the board that I have sat on as a shadow member and as an observer have definitely met my expectations twofold. I mean, it's been really, really good. What I can say is that some of my expectations have, quite frankly, been thrown out of the window just because of actually what actually happens in this arena. I mean, you couldn't call it some of the things that I've heard and witnessed and experienced and learnt. So yes, the basis was there, and that's definitely been met. But what I'm actually really pleased to say, and what I'm appreciative of LHP, is that other things have happened which have really given me a broader insight into what those expectations were.
Fascinating. That's really interesting to hear. Thank you. What would you say has been the most valuable part of the program for you so far?
I think the most valuable part for me, coming from it where I was very interested in how housing management works, is really the interaction on the estate walks and the interactions with the operations committee and also the people and governance committee, because that was really my focus. I think they were the bits that really support my background. And also, I suppose, having the opportunity to actually speak to various tenants and residents and seeing how the decisions that are made on that sort of board level impact them, with also, I would say, having one of the the core values, which is the listening element, how it plays out in the boardroom, because it's always sort of redirected back to that,
Yeah.
which is always good.
Can you describe a key learning or skill that you've gained from the program?
Oh, definitely. Listening is massive. There's so many people that have something to say from different angles, different perspectives, always still keeping those core values in place. But the listening and really trying to um, sort of objectively raise your opinion or your stance on how things are being sort of dealt with is really crucial. And it takes a long time, because within a board you have personalities that are really passionate, and you have personalities that are very articulate, and you have all these personalities, and you don't really know kind of when you can chip in, because as a trainee it's quite difficult. And what I loved about LHP and what they've tried to encourage me to do is to feel as though I have a voice. So essentially, whenever I felt like I couldn't speak, it was all on me, not because they were saying, "Oh no, it's not time for you to speak now," but they were always encouraging, what's my thoughts on this and what's my opinions, and So I think that was really good.
Brilliant to hear that. Okay, you'll be pleased to hear. Final two questions. So we're nearly
Okay.
done with the grilling. Would you recommend the program to other people?
I would, absolutely would. And I would more so with LHP. And I'm not just saying that because I am, a trainee board member at LHP, but because it's in conjunction with Housing Diversity Network. What I found is when we go on courses outside of when I'm sitting on the board, I hear a lot of trainees say that they literally just sit there and listen. Whereas LHP, my board don't do that. In fact, they think, why aren't you talking? It's really quite open,
Yeah.
and questions can be asked and stuff. So I would definitely recommend it to anybody who wants to have insight into what goes on at board, and to be able to be given that sort of, that mantle to carry on and run with it. I mean, it's not forced upon you, but it's very much encouraged, which I think you need because you're quite sort of shy otherwise.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's good to you've got to toe the fine line when you're in a new situation like that. You need to know when you do feel comfortable speaking up, but also feel encouraged to. And so it's really great
Absolutely.
to hear that you feel supported by the other board members. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Final question then: what
Yep.
advice would you give to somebody considering joining the program?
I would say don't limit your expectations like I did. My expectations were really narrow. How does this really fit into my other world is what my expectation was. But I don't think it should be limited to that. It's how can it fit into other roles that you might have outside of the trainee role, any future applications for that role, and just really understanding the sector as widely as possible because it's not just sitting on a board. You're experiencing every element of the sector because you know there's always comparisons or discussions about what other RPs are doing, what are we doing, how can we do this better, how can we not repeat the same mistakes. It's all that, it's that continuous learning and learning from each other, but keeping those core values in place, which is I think is essential.
Thank you so much, Bucky. It's been absolutely fantastic chatting with you. It's been really great to have an insight into what it's been like for you as a trainee board member. It sounds like it's been a really exciting time for you. You've learned and gained a lot from it. It sounds like you've got an exciting journey ahead of you. And yeah, I hope that you remain with us on the board for many years to come.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks so much, Sam.